Let's talk about finally a ref position. Okay, so we went, if you think about the decision making, we talked about go behind when your partner is on the elbows, and now it's time to talk about ref position. So what will happen when you start hitting go behinds on people is that they will start rising to ref position, so that now we need to start going behind. Again, not impossible, but just simply much harder. This comes with a very high cost, which is that your partner just simply doesn't have any defensive hands, so you can start getting in to strangle. Now, there is an overall rule for hitting guillotines and darts and like just strangle from chest to back in front of the elbow. And it's a rule about the distance between the elbow and the hip. So my partner's elbow and my partner's hip. The more my partner's elbow is tucked into my partner's hip, so a situation like this, the harder it will be for me to go into head and arm strangles. Okay, even if he has it like here and it's kind of, yeah, exactly, a situation like this, it's going to be harder, not impossible, but harder to go into head and arm strangles. The easier it will be to go into what they call, sometimes is referred as naked strangles, as in without the arm, like a rear naked choke, in which you're choking without the arm, versus a karagatame, for example, arm in chokes. So the easier it will be for me to go into, as it were, naked guillotines. So it can be a high wrist, low wrist, high elbow, power guillotine, figure four guillotines, loads of different kinds of guillotine. We're not going to go through all of them because it will become just too much. But just for you to get a sense, the more your partner's elbow is tucked into the hip, the more you want to go into head-only strangles. The farther away is your partner's elbow from the hips, the harder it will be for me to start hitting naked guillotines, but the easier it will be for me to start locking head and arm chokes. Okay, so that's a very general rule that can save you a lot of trouble when you're deciding whether to go into arm in chokes or naked chokes. There's a whole conversation that we could have about this topic, but for now, let's just leave it at that. The more your partner's elbow is tucked into the hip, the more you go into naked chokes. The further away from the hip, the more you will go into arm in chokes.